Hey guys, and welcome to a Kerbal Space Program tutorial. Now in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to get into the orbit of Kerbal, which is kind of like the Earth of Kerbal Space Program. And these are the very basics. Now what I'm going to be using is the Kerbal X rocket. It's enough to get into orbit, but if you want to go to the moon or anything, you might need something a little bit bigger. Alright, so I'm just going to click on Launch. And here we go. So up on the left here, it has all the different stages. And as I hit space, one by one, these stages will initialize. Now this here is your nav ball. And what you want to do is hit you want to turn on what's called SAS, the T, and it will stop your ship from wobbling back and forth. So if you point it in a direction and then hit T to turn SAS on, it will keep it going in that direction. So here we go. I'm gonna launch. Here, this is the throttle, and this works for almost every rocket. Some use solid fuel boosters, which you can't adjust the throttle. But what you do is you use Shift to increase the throttle and hold Control to bring it back down. And you can hit X and it'll go all the way down. Alright, so here we go. I got my SAS on. Now, when you turn on R, when you hit R, it will turn on your RCS thrusters, which there aren't any on this ship that I can see, but those are just used for maneuverability. You don't need those. And as you see, I have a liquid fuel, full power, everything. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna launch. So I want to throttle all the way up and then fire, and then I'll activate my first stage and these will all fire, and then my next stage, these will detach. Alright, here we go. Alright, so I'm going up, and as you can see, these things run out. As soon as they run out, you want to detach them. These fuel lines are set up a certain way so that it drains fuel from a certain part of the ship. Now, you don't want to get going faster than 200 meters per second. So how I'm going now is pretty good. It's pretty straight. So yeah, you want to keep your speed just below 200. You can keep it lower, but I find, you've got a couple more stacks, so you got tons of fuel. Alright, so as soon as we hit 10,000, you want to hit X to cancel all thrust, and then you want to turn to the right. Now you want to go to about you want to go to about 45 degrees. Heading, it says 90 degrees, but you want to go somewhere between 90 and straight up. And then you want to speed up again and continue going. Now, as you see, when you hit M, it will show you the world map, right? Now this is your apoapse. This is your highest point in your orbit. This is the highest point in your orbit. Now the lowest point in your orbit is called the periapse. Now as you can see, we're not in a full orbit yet. We're just going to go up and down. But what we want to do is we want to get the apoapse to about 100,000. And once it's there, we'll be able to create a full orbit. Now you can orbit anywhere. I think the lowest is like 50,000 or something. But just to keep it safe, as you can see, this is around 100,000, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Just continuing along. You can save a bit of fuel, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, something that's very important in this game is quick saving. You hit F5 to quick save, and then you hold F9 to load your last quick save. See, I just loaded that quick save. Okay, apoapse is increasing. That's good. Alright, so I'll come back when my apoapse is around 70,000. And then I'll tell you what the next step is. Alright, so the apoapse is increasing. It's going to go to about 30,000. You can click this to bring up your nav ball. It's going very nicely. You don't really have to worry about it that much. You know, if you stay on this course, it should gradually go up. Once it gets to about 70,000, what you want to do is you want to turn it till you're about just below 90 degrees until you get to 100,000 meters. Then, till your apoapse gets to 100,000 meters. Then, what you'll do is you want to switch to 90 degrees and you want to kill all thrust. You want to save your fuel. Alright, so I'll check back with you once I'm about 100 or about 70,000 meters. Alright, so here we're at 70,000 meters and I want to turn to just below 90 until we get to 100,000 meters. You see, my fuel's getting low, so once this runs out, I'll switch to this one. 100,000. Okay, so then I'm gonna turn to 90 degrees, and I'll just stay there. Alright, so as you can see, the apoapse is staying the same, and it's not going to increase or decrease. Now, once you get to this point, you probably want a quick save. Now, what do we want to do next? Oh no, that's not 90 degrees, I'm sorry. You want to get to 90 degrees, which is halfway through. Okay. Alright, 100,000. Here is what's called the prograde vector. When you are pointing at that and you're firing your engines, you will obviously go faster. So, what you want to do is put your cursor on the prograde vector, and then as soon as you get to your apoapse, you want to fire prograde. This means that your periapse will get bigger. Now, what's called a retrograde is it will slow you down. Alright, so here we go. We're firing. And as you can see, our orbit is getting bigger. Now we're just about out of fuel, so here we go. Alright. Now you can also do it with maneuver nodes, but I just find it a lot easier just to fire prograde at the apoapse. So you might need to adjust a bit as you go around. Alright. Alright, we're almost around. Periapse should show up right around here. And once the periapse and the apoapse switch places, that means you're in a circular orbit. Alright, and that's pretty close. 100,000, 200,000. You can adjust that once you get to the apoapse, but we are now in a steady orbit, as you can see. Now I can just time accelerate, and we will just keep orbiting around. Here we go. Orbiting around. It doesn't matter how your ship's pointed. Doesn't matter, you know, if you got your landing gear out. Whatever. You'll stay in that orbit. You can, like, put out solar panels or whatever and orbit around, and your ship will be totally fine. Now, there's also another way of doing this, and I'm going to show you that now. Now, say I want to make my apoapse smaller. So what I want to do is I want to click on the periapse, and this is what's called a maneuver node. So you click and you hit add maneuver. Now this green button makes your orbit, your apoapse or your opposite side bigger, and this one makes it smaller. So say I drag this out, it will make it bigger. Say I drag this one out, it will make it smaller. So This one also turns it left, this one turns it right, and the purple one will just change your inclination. And you can, like, you know, right click if that's not what you want. So, say we want to make our apple apps smaller. So we click on this and we drag it till our new apple apps is around 100,000. There we go. Alright, that's pretty good. So as you can see, it's brought up this time. The node is in T-minus 15 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to put our marker on this blue marker, and once we get to, in 15 minutes, once we get there, we want to burn for 7 seconds. Now this estimated burn time is not always right. Depends how fast you're going. Depends if you're on the right thing. It depends. So let's just time accelerate up to 15 minutes. Now be careful when you're using oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Time acceleration is using period and the comma keys. Period to go faster, comma to go slower. You can also click on it, but I just find it easier. Now, alright, so T-minus 10, 9, 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so let's get close to 7 seconds. Now what you want to do is if it has a correct estimated burn time, you want to split it in half. So you want to do half on one side of the node and half on the other. So we're going to burn for about 3.5 seconds on one side. And here we go. And as you can see, it's getting smaller. And this will show us how much time you have left. And there we go. So that's pretty close. You can, you can turn around and get it pretty exact, but, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Then you just hit the plus, or you hit the check mark, and now you're in a better orbit. You're in around 100,000. And that, guys, is my tutorial on orbiting Kerbal. As you can see, we're in a very steady orbit, and we will continue orbiting. If this tutorial helped you at all, guys, please make sure to leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.